Pancake, everyone. The Amazon River is a place full of mysteries and unexplored enigmas, and today you will learn about the most incredible things that have shocked not only scientists worldwide, but also me. The waters of this river and the surrounding territories are full of creatures like none ever seen before, from real dragons that have survived 12 million years, to people living in their imaginary world. And at the end I'll show you what surprised me the most. A fish with real human teeth, as hard to believe as that might sound. Imagine, in the depths of the Amazon, scientists stumbled upon a real leech Tyrannosaurus, which was named the Royal Leech. This hermaphrodite stands out among its kin for its size. In 2010, while researchers were roaming the Peruvian part of the Amazon, they even encountered a leech that was a whole 4 inches long. Practically the size of a palm, Carl! And here, we're not talking about tiny micro teeth, but rather real fangs like those of a Tyrannosaurus. Seems like evolution decided to play a joke by creating such a small yet terrifying predator. The Royal Leech doesn't limit itself to small treats or crustaceans from the water. Nah, it prefers larger mammals. And it likes to hunt directly, entering the bodies of its victims through the eyes or genitals. Yes, you heard that right, it's like a horror movie, but in real life. And here's another fun fact for you. Their reproductive organs are the size of a grain of sand, while those of other leech species are much larger. And with their viciousness, they seem to compensate for this shortcoming. So friends, watch your eyes and genitals, in case you encounter a disenfranchised royal leech. And the next discovery baffled the whole world. The story of the humpback whale in the forest on Piraha Island is just bizarrely mysterious and strange. It happened in 2019, when the carcass of a humpback whale was found right among mangrove trees and shrubs at the mouth of the Amazon River. The creature was discovered thanks to vultures who apparently sensed that something was out of place. Scientists proposed 2 theories about how this whale ended up in such an unusual spot. According to the first theory, strong tidal waves might have washed it ashore while it was swimming near the coast, and after getting lost in the jungles, the whale could not return to the water. Despite its size, it was just a baby, barely a year old. Apparently, the whale became separated from its mother and failed to join the migration of its kin near the coasts of Antarctica. Biologists were also puzzled by the fact that this whale appeared off the northern coast of Brazil in the winter period, as it's abnormal since they usually pass here from July to November. The second theory suggests that the whale's death in the ocean could have been caused by plastic pollution, and its dead body was washed ashore by the waves. Media related to ecologists even reported that the whale's abdominal cavity was stuffed with human waste, but whether this is true or not was not mentioned in official reports. Scientists also do not rule out the possibility of a collision with a ship or entanglement in poacher nets. Although the story is sad, the whale in the jungle certainly became a real find for reporters. It looks terrifying, but believe me, this is far from the most impressive thing I will show you today. Look, there seems to be a boulder lying at the bottom, all covered in algae. But as soon as a fish swims closer, the stone transforms into a real dragon. Meet Matamata, or the fringed turtle if you want to be scientific. A long dragon-like neck and a huge mouth that swallows fish whole. Brr, looks intimidating. Matamata is a ruthless predator, protected by an impregnable shell. Besides its teeth and neck, the turtle has special fringes that can detect the slightest movement around it. Matamata lies still like a stone, but always knows exactly who and where is around it. When it catches its prey, it quickly swallows it and pretends that nothing happened. It only occasionally raises its head closer to the surface, and then a long trunk with 2 nostrils protrudes from the water. Matamata lives in still waters and can hunt not only fish, but also doesn't mind feasting on birds that sometimes glide along the water's surface. And do you know how old these turtles are? Scientists say about 12 million years. Such a dragon. But what terrifying thing do you associate with the Amazon? For me, it's the Anaconda, another reptile that amazed scientists back in the day. I used to think that movies greatly exaggerate the danger of this snake, but believe me, they don't. Although it doesn't use venom, this creature is not a sight for the faint-hearted. Green anacondas can grow to sizes that will make your blood freeze, up to 30 feet in length and 550 pounds in weight. Indeed, the diameter is also impressive, almost 12 inches. They are simply giants among snakes, that's all there is to it. Then you realize that feeding such a massive thing requires a buffet consisting of a few people. Although movies slightly exaggerate its taste for human flesh, in general it doesn't really care what it eats. Usually it prefers more classic dishes. Birds, deer, pigs, jaguars, turtles, and even capybaras. Just like a real gourmet, only of the snake variety. And the way this snake arranges its feasts, that's a whole different story. The anaconda wraps around its prey and suffocates it, then swallows it whole, slipping over it like a sleeve. Brr, scary. But the most interesting part, between its lavish meals, Anaconda takes such breaks that even women on diets would envy. These snakes can easily rest and not eat for weeks or even months. Apparently, the Anaconda has a lot to ponder in life without being distracted by food. But let's talk about people too, because in the depths of the Amazon, you can encounter not only wild and rare animals, but also very strange tribes. The Brazilian Piraha Indians are of interest to scientists and researchers due to their unique lifestyle and culture. These guys do not sleep long. They just walk around and doze off periodically for 20 to 30 minutes during the day and night. Day and night being of no difference to them. They eat only what is freshly caught, not engaging in creating a surplus of food. What's more interesting is that they change their names every 6 to 8 years, as if evolving and being reborn throughout their lives. They have no particular faith or religion. They are unaware of many human emotions like fear, envy, anger. They consider themselves a part of the forest, something self-evident. The Piraha tribe was first discovered in 1977, when American preacher and also ethnographer and linguist Daniel Everett traveled through the depths of the Amazon, hoping to convert local tribes to his faith. When the guy met the Piraha tribe, his worldview changed. He saw absolutely carefree people living in complete harmony with nature. Daniel not only gave up trying to impose his religion on them, but stayed with the tribe himself, hoping to attain the same happiness as these guys, as they have neither past nor future, only living in the present moment. Okay, now that we've discussed the good, let's get back to the terrifying. If you've ever seen the movie Piranhas, then you know that these fish can turn a person into shreds in a matter of minutes. Piranhas are the real stars of the Amazon horror scene, especially the red-bellied piranha, which dominates the waters of the Amazon and nearby regions. These fish are very unpretentious predators, having no preferences in food. They can eat their kin, worms, crustaceans, or insects. Although piranhas are often portrayed in movies as ferocious predators, this is somewhat exaggerated. To stay safe, piranhas prefer shallow waters, and they don't hunt in large groups as often as shown in Hollywood films. Despite their modest size, just over 12 inches long and no more than 4.5 pounds in weight, the fish is a serious threat. It certainly won't devour a person alone, but it can maim quite capably. Among local fishermen, it's considered a professional risk, with almost all of them bearing scars from these cuties. But an even more unusual monster you can encounter in the depths of the Amazon is the electric eel, although its name is somewhat misleading as this creature resembles a black knifefish more than an eel. But the part about electricity is quite true. It can deliver a very powerful shock, and its size is impressive too. These fish grow up to 2 meters, weigh up to 45 pounds, and have a stylish coloring with an orange or yellow belly. But don't let this color variety fool you. These eels are genuinely deadly to humans. The discharge these creatures emit reaches 600 volts, which is instantly gonna kill you. Even if you just lose consciousness, you could still drown in the water. Locals are very wary of these eels, as there have already been quite a few victims. The fish simply swims up, trying to make an arc with its body, placing the victim between them, closing the subsequent discharge between its head and tail. Even minimal electrical exposure paralyzes the nervous system, leaving no chance for the opponent. Other eels then swim up and also start bombarding with lightning until the prey stops moving. These guys have very poor vision, so sometimes they emit discharges just as a warning, creating an electrified aura around themselves. But if the eel doesn't impress you, what do you say about this fishosaur? Take a look at this beast, known as Arapaima. Seeing such a fish is a real test for the nervous system. It's just gigantic, up to 10 feet long and weighing up to 220 pounds. And some specimens are twice that size. But here's the interesting thing. When you see such a monster, you involuntarily imagine it eating people for breakfast. But in reality, no, Arapaima is not a man-eater. It prefers fruits, seeds, small birds. Arapaima opens its mouth wide, creating a vacuum and sucking in everything it encounters. With its teeth and bony tongue, it grinds the food before sending it to the stomach. In captivity, they are fed fruit, shrimp, and squids. It seems that besides humans, they eat almost everything. Interestingly, Arapaima lay eggs and build nests in the mud on the shore during the water level decrease. The fry can only develop for 3 months, then they grow too big for the shallows. But since we're talking about river monsters, you need to brace yourself for the next one. Can you imagine a cross between a fish and a saber-toothed tiger? No? Well, nature managed to do it. Meet Payara the Great and Terrible. When I first saw a photo of this thing, I thought it was some art or Photoshop, but no. This is an actual predator among fish, dedicating its entire life to the hunt for food. Payara is the real terror of the Amazon. It hates everyone around unless they are its meal. Of course, it has no friends, as aggression is in its blood. This fish looks so terrifying that it scares not only potential victims, but also enemies that could deal with it. No other predator dares to mess with this fish. It's practically the apex of the local food chain. The size is also impressive. It can grow up to 4 feet in length and weigh from 30 to 40 pounds, feeding on half its own weight at a time. So if you ever decide to travel through the Amazon, it's better to stay away from this dreadful creature. Hell, you'd even settle for piranhas just to avoid seeing those fangs. And what would the Amazon be without crocodiles? Personally, I associate it with the scariest monster you can encounter on the banks of this river. And the black caimans being the largest predators in this ecosystem only confirm my thoughts. These creatures can be found in any part of the Amazon, acting as forest sanitizers, destroying everything unreasonable that decides to cross their path. Caimans don't really care who to snap their jaws on. Whether it's a human or a bird, they have no fear of anyone. Therefore, they have very few natural enemies, because who would want to mess with this walking jaw? Female black caimans lay eggs in nests they build themselves during the dry season. The caiman mother guards her offspring until they are capable of defending themselves. Even small crocodiles are quite dangerous. Even if they don't eat you, they surely won't let go after a bite. I highly recommend staying away from the flooded savannas of the Amazon and the fresh lakes of South America, whose shores are really teeming with black caimans. But if we're used to crocodiles and their appearance doesn't surprise us much, what do you say about the next monster? This horror I promised you at the very beginning of the episode. Wait for it. A fish with human-like teeth, or at least very similar to them. This fish is called Pacu. It's like a piranha, only the teeth are not small and sharp, but rather square and flat with a human bite. Surprisingly, they are not predators, although they look really frightening. They don't eat meat at all. Unexpected, right? Pacu, even at their meager size, prefer vegetarian food. They can even crack nuts and deftly extract pieces of food from various crevices. Their teeth help a lot with this. But that doesn't mean they can't bite someone. There have been cases where schools of Pacu bit people, causing serious injuries. And even in captivity there have been attacks. For example, in a private aquarium in Scotland, a fish nearly bit off the finger of an inattentive gawker who decided to stir it up. But in general, if you don't get too close, you can feel safe. Although personally, I would stay away. I don't know about you, but such teeth make me wary. Phew, there is so much on our planet that it's hard to believe it's not just pictures from the internet. After all of this, you think 10 times over, how do the locals even live on the Amazon? Thank you for watching.